Greetings, movie fans. This week we're getting down and dirty, really dirty, with the British sci-fi horror flick Evil Aliens.
I'd rather say this place is cursed.
No sisters.
Oi.
Abduction is hardly original, is it? I mean, what's your angle on that then?
She's suddenly pregnant.
Who's the father? Please tell me it's E.T.
Does anyone here speak English?
English? Why would do that?
This whole area is an abduction hotspot.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
What? Did you see something?
Arm up with whatever you can find.
Great, squat, duke it out with a monster smart of space.
Whoops.
Alright, as may have been evident from the trailer, this is getting into the slightly gorier side of things. A little bit of classic video nasty with an extraterrestrial twist. So a warning up front, this one is not for folks with weak stomachs. This flick is a little uneven in parts, but it has some excellent practical effects work. Jake West's Evil Aliens, the full title, seems a little odd to see it spelled out that way, is a great take on the traditional UFO alien invasion trope. Not particularly original to be fair, but it's what you do with the concept that really counts. Starting out with an abduction, one of the abductees turns up seemingly 9 months pregnant a few days later. An unexplained mystery-style show picks up on the story and heads out of London to a rural farm on a small island off the coast of Wales. Strangers in a strange land, the film crew and associate hangers-on soon realize they've bitten off more than they can chew. And in spite of some of their best efforts to pretend otherwise, there might actually be something out there. If they're lucky, there might only be a handful of somethings out there. If they're unlucky, well, we'll get a little bit of Predator meets Evil Dead action, with a few elements thrown in from Phantasm and the good, the bad, and the ugly for good measure. Released in 2005, this is an early digital HD release. Most likely the first UK horror flick filmed in the format. On the whole, it looks good, and the digital format allows better integration of many of the effects. Some shots work better than others. The CGI is occasionally hit or miss, but tends towards the hit. The flying drones work significantly better, for instance, than fire or digital blood shots. But the practical work is where you really get your money's worth. All the same, it's worth noting that the director managed nearly all the CGI effects composite work on his own, with one assistant in his apartment. Like Jade Warrior, it's definitely a factor to keep in mind. A year's worth of rendering done off a handful of machines in an apartment compared to the average big studio work, it's not that shabby. It's actually pretty solid. So let's see a little rundown of the movie on a whole. We've got death by anal probe, death by alien fetus, death by impaling, some spine ripping, all manner of decapitations, disembowelings, and dismemberments. All in good fun, really, with some truly amazing practical effects work. It's not to say the aliens get all the fun in this movie, though. Obviously, we've got to go all farmcore here. Start up the van, rev up the chainsaw, pick up the compound bow, grab your boomstick, rotary tiller, and oh yeah, there's a combine harvester in the barn. Oh yeah. This movie is definitely a labor of love by folks who really love movies of all sorts, but it does suffer a bit from Phantom Menace syndrome. Some of the verbal gags work, but a lot of them fall kind of flat, and I feel that letting a second writer take a swing at some of the dialogue would have definitely paid off in the final version. Some of the slower parts come across pretty awkwardly, but once the blood starts spurting, it's easy to look past them. Big points, too, for the excellent soundtrack. Some very epic feeling themes and a very solid production. For a sci-fi horror movie, budgeted on the whole under £2 million. Moving on to the DVD, I've actually sprung for a couple different versions of this one. The initial UK DVD, Region 2, and a German edition 2-disc steelbook, also Region 2. The German version is pretty loaded with special features, including a couple full-length commentaries, a number of making-of featurettes, and an additional unrelated 30-minute short film. Not a bad bang for your buck at all, and not out of print either if you dig around on Amazon or eBay. The commentaries are generally solid and very informative, including some good details on working on a budget. Although I guess at this point, 12 years later, good gravy, I'm getting old, the effects process has changed quite a bit in various ways. But it's still great to hear about how they accomplished some of the ultra-classy practical effects. This movie is also available on Netflix DVD and streaming at Amazon. Keep an eye out though, because the first US release was rated R, as opposed to the preferred unrated cut, which the current US DVD includes, not to mention all the international DVD releases. So, if you've got a strong stomach and a great sense of humor, this Brit flick is a little less Sense and Sensibility and a little more Evil Dead. Even with the cheesy dialogue, it's highly recommended for a watch. If you like this review, please like the vid, subscribe to the channel, sign up for notifications. New reviews are almost always on Thursdays. And I got a few other videos of other types planned too in the short term. Stay tuned, movie fans. Lieutenant Fish, out.